One man here in Wichita who had every excuse to fail decided to make his wildest dreams come true instead. John Madden went from living in an orphanage in Ireland to becoming a well-known motivational speaker, author, and trainer here in America. His story proves it's not so much what happens to you, but how you react to it that makes all the difference.
Well, at the age of 3, I became an orphan, and I have remained one ever since.
John Madden lived in an orphanage with his brother until he was 12 years old. Then their aunt came to get them.
She had a small hotel which had about a dozen rooms, little dining room, and she put us to work. When I wasn't in school, I was cleaning floors or checking people in or washing dishes or cleaning windows. And we had a very tough aunt. She was very disciplined, very, autocratic.
Because his aunt was so hard to live with, his brother left home as soon as he turned 16.
I lost track of him literally for a couple of years.
So the only close relative he'd ever really known was gone out of his life.
A year and a half later, my aunt died when I was 16. So at that time, I literally had to go out and get a job and pretty much fend for myself. And I got a job through a friend at their uncle's bar.
Rather than just survive, John decided to thrive. He started out washing beer bottles, but he worked so hard, he was soon promoted to busboy and then bartender.
And then, after about a year doing that, another friend of mine, you can see I started networking at an early age. Another friend of mine, his best buddy, lived with his parents who had a hotel. So another hotel, they got me a job there.
Where he did just about everything and did it all to the best of his ability. While working there, he always made time to get to know the customers and became especially fond of a couple from England.
And one evening, they asked me, "John, what do you want to do with yourself? You seem like an intelligent kid, but you're not going to be a bartender." I said, "No, I hope not." I said, "I would love to do hotel management training, but I can't afford it because I don't have anybody to support me and I don't make enough money."
When that man returned home, he mailed John information about training programs in London that would be easier for John to take. 6 months later, John decided to take a leap of faith and leave the only place he'd ever known. John was just 19 at the time.
I went to London, took a risk, left Dublin, and went to London. I had about £10 in my pocket, 10 Irish pounds, which are the same as English pounds, which in those days would have been about $25.
Before he left Ireland, John had written all the companies the English couple had sent him information about.
And each of them pretty much said, "Well, we don't really have anything at the moment, but if you're in London, look us up."
So he decided to do just that. He showed up on the doorstep of one of those hotel companies early one Saturday morning and asked to see the personnel manager.
So I interviewed with him, showed him the letter that he had sent me, and he said, "Well, we don't really have anything right now. This is Saturday, but if you want to come back on Monday, that's when we have the vacancy list, and there's always some jobs. So feel guaranteed that you'll get something. I can't guarantee it'll be anything fancy."
What it was a job as a bellman. Once again, John started at the bottom.
Those days, luggage didn't have wheels on it, nor did we have racks to carry luggage across the lobby. So you physically carried bags all the way onto the lift, as we call the elevator, then up to the rooms, and then along the corridors.
After a year of doing that, John contacted the hotel's home office and told them he wanted to become a management trainee.
And I couldn't have done that in the beginning because they didn't know me. But now I've worked there, so I proved that I can work and turn up for a job and be nice to people, etc.
2 months later, he was selected to become an official management trainee. Because he excelled at everything they asked him to learn during his training, the company decided to move him to the home office.
My job was to get to understand how input got to the computer from the hotels and how they processed statements, invoices, payroll, all that sort of thing. And then to teach. I became a trainer. It was my first job in training.
When you look back, it's amazing to see how our life experiences prepare us to do what we really dream of in the future. Little did John know at the time, but that job was preparing him to be a trainer and motivational speaker.
Good to see a few fellows I've already talked to earlier on. I'd like to start off with a statement that somebody once made. They said, "In life, a lot of things happen to us along the way."
While he was still working at the home office, it hired an American company to improve its efficiency, and John was assigned to work with them for about 6 months. A year later, that same company called John.
Then I got a call about 11 o'clock one night from New York. He said, Johnny, we want you to come over to the States and work with us, Synchronamics, doing what you did over there because we got a huge contract with the Marriott Hotel Corporation and we need a European expert. I said, wow, I was quite shocked. This was 11 o'clock at night. And at the time, I already had a very good job in London. I was happy. I had 2 very young kids, so it was kind of scary, to do something like this. And I thought, ooh. I asked my wife about it. Actually, she was keen. I thought she would never go for it because her family was there, but she actually thought the idea sounded good. And deep down, I did. I always wanted to visit America, but the idea of going there now when everything is going so well is scary. Plus, I'm going to do a job that I've never really done. Going to join a company that I've never worked for. What happens if it doesn't work? So I was loaded with fear.
But he overcame that fear, and with the support of his boss, he decided to take the risk.
He says, John, this is a risk you've got to take. You will never get an opportunity like this. He said, look where you are today. You didn't get here by not making risks, by not taking risks. Take it. Don't start worrying about what happens if it goes wrong. 2 months from then, I was in the United States working with this company as a management consultant, totally terrified. And by the way, I would tell you that this was probably one of the most stressful jobs I've ever had because I was thrown in at the deep end. So I was put in charge of this project and I didn't know what I was doing.